The Crucible Theatre has seen some incredible moments over the years, but what happened in that final will go down as one of the most historic nights in snooker history, and what came next caught everyone completely off guard. Zhao Xintong had done what no Chinese player had ever done before. He had lifted the World Championship trophy, and the way he did it left everyone speechless. But it was the words of his beaten opponent that really caught everyone's attention. Mark Williams, the three-time world champion from Wales, not only congratulated Zhao after losing 18-12 in the final, he delivered a statement that should have every snooker player worried about what's coming next. Williams looked straight into the camera and said something that sent shockwaves through the sport. He called Zhao a new superstar of the game and admitted he was glad he'd be too old when Zhao starts dominating everything in sight. That's not the kind of thing you hear from a champion very often. When someone like Williams, who's been around the sport for decades and has seen it all, makes a statement like that, you know something special just happened. And honestly, what we witnessed at the Crucible was nothing short of incredible. Let's talk about what made this victory so remarkable. This was a player who had been banned from professional snooker for 2 years, forced to start from the bottom, and somehow managed to climb all the way to the top of the mountain. Just 7 months ago, Zhao was serving the final weeks of his suspension for his involvement in a match-fixing scandal. While he wasn't charged with actually fixing matches, he was caught betting on games which cost him his professional tour card and his career. Most players would have walked away. Most would have found something else to do with their lives. But Zhao made a decision that changed everything. He swallowed his pride and entered the Q Tour, playing in amateur events at snooker clubs. This was about as far from the glamour of the Crucible as you could get. And you know what happened? He absolutely destroyed the competition. Across 5 Q Tour events, Zhao lost just one match. One match in 5 tournaments. He made 2 maximum 147 breaks along the way, reminding everyone exactly what kind of talent they were dealing with. This earned him a place back on the professional tour and entry into the World Championship qualifying rounds. But here's where the story gets even more incredible. Zhao had to win 4 qualifying matches just to reach the Crucible. 4 matches against hungry players desperate for their own shot at glory. And from the very beginning, it was clear something special was happening. In his first qualifying frame, he made a century break. In his second frame, another century. By the time he'd won his 4th and final qualifying match, he had already compiled 12 century breaks in the tournament. 12 centuries before he even reached the Crucible. That's the kind of form that has other players checking over their shoulders. But the real test was yet to come. The Crucible is where dreams are made and broken, where nerves play their biggest part. This is where we'd find out if Zhao was really back or if this was just a flash in the pan. His first opponent was Jack Jones, the previous year's runner-up. Jones knew how to handle Crucible pressure and what it took to reach a World Championship final. Instead, Zhao looked completely relaxed and beat Jones 10-4. It wasn't even close. Next up was Li Paifan, another Chinese player who knew Zhao's game inside and out. This match was closer, with Li mounting a late rally that had everyone wondering if Zhao might crack under the pressure. But when it mattered most, Zhao held his nerve and won 13-10. The quarterfinals brought Chris Waitlin, a player who just had his own breakthrough moment by reaching the last 8 for the first time. Waitlin was riding high on confidence and playing some of the best snooker of his career. Zhao demolished him, 13-5. But then came the match that really proved Zhao belonged at this level. Ronnie O'Sullivan, the man who had inspired Zhao to play snooker in the first place. And now he had to beat him to reach the World Championship final. What happened next was nothing short of sensational. Zhao went on an absolute rampage in the second session, winning all 8 frames to pull away to a commanding 12-4 lead. He won the match with a session to spare, 17-7, leaving O'Sullivan looking stunned and the snooker world in shock. And that brought him to the final, face-to-face with Mark Williams. Williams is no ordinary opponent. The Welshman is a 3-time world champion who knows exactly what it takes to win at the Crucible. Williams had recently struggled with his vision and had even booked himself in for eye surgery. But his run to the final was so impressive that he was reconsidering the surgery entirely. But none of that mattered when he came up against Zhao. From the very beginning, Zhao took command of the final. Williams couldn't get going early on, and Zhao was ready for everything the Welshman could throw at him. Williams mounted a brave fight back in the final session, winning the first 4 frames to threaten an unlikely comeback. For a moment, it looked like experience might triumph over talent once again. But Zhao wasn't having any of it. He stopped the comeback dead in its tracks with a sensational break of 87 to seal the world title and make history as China's first world champion. The reaction from Williams after the match told the whole story. He praised his opponent's incredible potting ability and said he had nothing but admiration for what the Chinese player had achieved, coming through the qualifiers after not playing for 2 years and beating everyone who stood in his way. Williams went even further, saying there was a new superstar of the game and comparing Zhao to Luke Littler, the teenage darts sensation who had taken that sport by storm. Snooker needed someone like Zhao coming through, and the way he played was effortless. But Williams also issued a warning that should have every snooker player paying attention. He talked about the wave of Chinese talent that's coming through, and mentioned Wu Yize as another player who's not far behind Zhao in terms of ability. But perhaps the most significant reaction came from snooker expert Dave Hendon, who explained what this victory could mean for both Zhao and the sport itself. Hendon backed Zhao for more success and claimed he could become a bona fide snooker superstar. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that assessment. What makes Zhao so dangerous is his combination of natural talent and hard-earned wisdom. He has an easy manner, often answering questions with a smile on his face. His swagger is understated, and he clearly knows how good he is, but manages to retain some humility. Audiences find this eye-catching potter irresistible as he drains long red after long red, gliding the cue ball around the table with a beautiful touch. He might be the best player ever at getting perfect splits of the pack. With a World Championship victory worth £500,000 and lifting him to number 11 in the world rankings, Zhao is now perfectly positioned to build on this success. His first opportunity will come at the British Open and the Wuhan Open, where he'll be a massive draw on home soil. The question now isn't whether Zhao can compete at the highest level. The question is whether anyone can stop him from dominating it. Mark Williams certainly doesn't think so, and after what we witnessed at the Crucible, it's hard to disagree. And that's a wrap on today's video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And for more snooker content, click the screen below.